welcome to the channel. It's Clarityempress, the Empress. Oh, what's this say? New manager monitoring support your channel in more ways. What? These users have the same. Okay. Why do I don't need to learn more about that right now. All right. Welcome to the channel, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. We're about to get this thing cracking. I have to get my sweater, put my sweater on for a little chill. I'm drinking something cold. I need to be warm when we get started. Hey, Black Cherry. Okay, let's pin your comments. Oh, child. I need more lotion on my hands. What's going on, collective? Welcome to the channel. Hope y'all are doing great. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ring that bell. That way you're notified anytime I come on. Knowing that like, sharing, and subscribing are energetic donations to the channel. Cost you nothing but me everything. Just a little click. That's it. And I appreciate y'all being here. So we about to get started. And you know we about to talk about this warlock today. Oh my gosh. Because his behavior. And if you don't know the warlock, you're going to figure it out. I'm gonna spell it out shortly. But his behavior echoes. That's the damn deck I was looking for. Hidden in plain sight. It must not have been meant. That warlock we about to talk about a little bit. And I mean, I'm still going to do a collective. I don't know whose energy I'm going to pick up on. But the warlock would be Diddy. If you didn't watch the Netflix series, watch it while you can. Watch it while it's still on. Me and Black Cherry were talking about it today. She's going to watch it. I just saw it a couple hours ago. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So it was a couple things in this documentary series that we did not see in the first one. But although I felt like, first of all, 50 Cent is somebody you do not want to be on his bad side. Because he played a long game and he better than regular detectives. That dude better than the FBI. He really is. Like, he got key pieces of evidence they couldn't even get. Right? So, but let's touch on the behavior of this warlock, right? So, the humble beginnings of the warlock was a fatherless child whose father was murdered, and he idolized this man as if he was an infamous gangster, right? And yep, he's a Cancer. Well, 50's a Cancer. The warlock is a Scorpio. The mother was constantly building him up, right? She put him in the dandy clothes, you know what I'm saying? Make him look good. Always prop him up, telling him what he needed to be. And the childhood friend, best friend that grew up with him in the same house, although they were on a different level, said that she used to beat him, and it sounded like it was very severe. Like, it traumatized him to see it, the friend. It really shaped, and there was other things that went on inappropriately, but there were things, it shaped who he is, who he became, what he is right now. And by the end of this docu-series, this man's ego, because he had gotten away with so many things, and he felt he even said he felt like he was next to God. Like ain't nothing bigger than him but God. Which is crazy. That ego is sick. Bananas. And I think that, I don't know if about you, but I've met people whose egos are like, they can't take no accountability. They are heinous in their ways. They don't care how they make people feel. And they are reckless. You know, like they're the only ones that can have this, or they're the only ones that could be this. And they could be manipulative. They could be very intimidating. And they use humiliation and sex for their spells, for their rituals, rather. This warlock is no different. He is a devious piece of you know what. And I don't think there was a person that he's come across that he has not abused in some way. Y'all, you know, a hard childhood will set you up for failure, or they'll set you up. Uh, it can set you up two ways: to be naive and abuse, or to be abusive. And he, mm, 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 mm. I mean, I came up in this era, right? So I got to see the first account of this person from the time that they should have never had a career. To be honest with you, I don't know how they were actually able to have a career. I don't know how charges went away. No one seems to know, but I mean, I have an idea because I believe he truly is a warlock, and not in the traditional sense. I just feel like he's a non-initiated a warlock, if that makes sense, right? And I'm only using that word to not, because I don't know the best term. Who is Willie? Hi, Willie T. Um, he will. It's like if you hand this person anything and tell them that it gives them a key to power or a sense of power, they will take it. And that's what he did. Anything that he perceived to make him more powerful, he took it. And it don't matter. And then that power would mean, making you succumb to stuff, whether you willingly went along with it or he had to snatch it. So we're about to get into it. We're about to get right on into it. Okay. All right, Spirit. Let's pull from the Intrusive Thoughts Oracle deck. Because, when you have somebody in your life that takes on he came off like a pimp, if that makes sense. He came off very, how you put it, the person that would break you down but make you feel like they're the only ones that can fix you type energy. And excuse me. Yeah, like this. I'm so sorry, please forgive me, right? Make you feel as if they just need your love. They need your attention. But everything that they do is centered on control. If they apologize, it's to regain control. If they hurt you, it's to maintain control. If they love you, it's for control. It's not never based on real, something real, okay? It's never based on something real with this type of person. Tell me more, Spirit. Yeah, Bob the Builder, strength, repair, build. Yeah, determined. This person will want to restore whatever they have with you, no matter how you feel. They would want to restore. Like if you cut this person off, right, and you say to this person, I can't be with you, and you move on for this person will not release your energy. They will still try to come back. So if you try to go black, move your address, get out of Dodge, this person is going to try to track you down until they can get that door open again. And if to get away from them, you would have to start all over. Tell me more. Heart collected. Look at this. Well, I wasn't sure what was going to come out, but here it is. Tell me more, Spirit. Yeah. That's your energy. I might be sad today, but I'm going to get the bag tomorrow. Some of y'all are fighting with the urge to re-establish yourself prior to this person, or deal with yourself post this person, meaning after this person. Tell me more, Spirit. They just want to collect hearts, though. This is the type of person that would make somebody a spouse. Like, and when I say spouse, like a wifey or a hubby, whether they're, with the contract or not. And then have side wifeys and side hubbies. Get what I'm saying? And feel like they can have their cake and eat it too. That's what I'm getting. Spirit is saying somebody is like that in someone's life. That may hear the sound of my voice. Take it how it resonates. If it don't resonate, don't take it. Ooh, look at that. Hard-headed. Someone's refusing to listen, especially when the truth is tough. It's a nudge to open up and really hear what's being said, even if it bugs you. True growth starts with listening, even when you rather not. This person is hard-headed. All right, bottom of the deck. Oh, damn, this is definitely his energy. Okay, let's talk about this warlock. So, the warlock I was telling y'all about is Diddy. Now, if you remember, the last name he changed to, because he constantly changed his name from Puffy to Puff Daddy to now to Diddy to now Love, right? So he wants to be the new spiritual bae. He wants to appear to love God, to appreciate God and what all love has to offer, but he is the complete opposite of that. This man is a complete and utter demon. Now, I wasn't sure that I was going to pull his energy. I just wanted to pull. But, yeah, he wanted forgiveness. He wanted people to have empathy for him, but he wouldn't pay people. He didn't support the people that depended on him. He just made himself richer and richer and richer and put people in the hole. One of the girls on this docuseries, apparently, to her recollect, he hadn't accosted her like he did her bandmate. But because of that, she felt she could come and ask for a couple dollars to help her out with some attorney fees. He told her he is doing something else and couldn't help her. Then turned around and asked her for a favor. This warlock was harvesting energy from everybody, whether it was fear and intimidation, or it was outright manipulation, or it was favors, sacrificial favors. This man was doing a lot. But what I found out today, I don't know how I missed it because it happened so long ago. But the beginning of his demise was the tattoo he put on his back with a spiritual deity, like a demigod. She is a goddess of the luau, which is a Haitian voodoo spirit. Her name is Azuli Dantor, and she is a goddess that protects women and children, especially abused women and children. She can bring you riches. She can bring you a wife. She can bring you the mate you're looking for. She can bring you a lot of help, but she can also tear you down equally, and if not more. And no one seems to understand. Well, no one knows for sure why he would put that on his back with the if he actually had the knowledge of who she is, and then still womanize and hurt people the way he did, because he literally put the woman whose likeness is on his back in the grave the following year with the casket was ready. Like nothing he did and do is making any sense. And that's why I said he's not a warlock initiated. Because if he was initiated or even close to it, he would have known better not to do what he did. He would have known better. There are things out there in this world that will accept behavior of free will. I'm gonna do as I want. You know, there are stuff like Satanism and different ones that they have their own code of honor that and morals that they live by, right? Which might be looser than others. But when you dealing with the voodoo or Yoruba or Santeria or any of those things, you really need to know what you're doing, and you need to know what you're talking about and who you calling on, because the protocols with them are different. Okay, everybody can't call on a Loal. Everybody can't call on a Orisha. Everybody can't just come and decide, well, I like this Orisha and I'm gonna worship it, and that's gonna give me everything I want. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. This man thought he was God. Thought he would humble himself by saying the next thing to God, but he really thought he was God. He thought he was untouchable, and he was not. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. That way you notify every time I come on. Now, this dude was out there hurting people, hurting people, hurting people. And the footage they got on him, he didn't pay the person for, I heard. I don't have receipts myself, right? So I don't know. But allegedly, he did not pay the person who was filming him. Allegedly, this is going to hurt him in future cases because he told on himself. Allegedly, you feel me? Like, it's crazy. This is crazy. And this man has said many, many times, this warlock has said many, many times, he will do whatever it takes to be the man on top. And he did. He did that. He harvested everybody's energy through fear. He fed off of that like it was a snack. You know what I'm saying? He put people in compromising positions, had them all mic'd up and cameraed on. He videoed all these people and kept the videos just to give them just to practice those humiliation rituals on everybody, to get them to be puppeteers and do what they want. And if you notice anything about it, if you saw it, no one spoke up unless it happened to them in some way, some shape or form. That all happened to them. Now they speaking up. They had witnessed other people go through it long before it kind of got to them, and they said nothing. That's how you know this warlock had power over people. He thought he had an advantage that would never end. Most narcissistic people do feel like their power, and it comes from the manipulation and control, the lies that they tell themselves about who they are, how inflated their ego is. Oh, this person must this and this person must that. And if the more of a challenge you are, the more he would wear you down until he got you. It's crazy. Oh. Hi, Oshun Messenger. I just now seen you on here because my don't scroll right. Rodney Shackleford, how you doing? Oshun Messenger. Oh, your exes? Yeah, listen. You know, that's why I was saying in the beginning, if you were here, or you might not have been, that his pathology, I guess they would call it, is very similar to many people that we know, just maybe not on this level, right? Never, no one, like this ain't the average warlock, right? He has a very inflated ego, and he's surrounded, of course, by yes people with this, because he had this perceived power. He was able to actually gain power over people, over money, over, whatever he wanted. He touched. He had the gift of gab. He was charming, you know what I'm saying? But then dangerously aggressive behind closed doors. He made people promises everywhere. He remind me is like and I don't know the full pathology of this character, but he reminds me of a modern day Rumpelstiltskin. Somebody playing with somebody's head, right? But making it a riddle, because he spoke in riddles all the time. He was never quite direct. He always talked in these riddles, and you had to. It caused you to try to decipher. What I noticed is that everybody was always confused by his behavior. They didn't understand why he did this, or they didn't understand why this was happening, because he was a modern day Rumpelstiltskin. He really was just out there wilding and harming people. So this warlock wants to be, and he wanted to be the new spiritual bae. Brother Love is what he wanted to be called. Interestingly enough, I found out that recently that J.D. Vance's name is the fourth name he had too. I don't know what his other names were, but they said that's not his birth name. And this is his fourth name change. So you take that how it resonates. Go down the rabbit hole on that. Educate me if you want. But yeah. And so now we dealing with someone who is constantly trying to change his persona. His own name wasn't good enough. He kept changing it, nickname to nickname to nickname to nickname. So now I think we on the fourth or fifth name. We had Sean Combs, Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, now and then Diddy. That's four. And now Brother Love. I don't know if I missed one. But yeah. And so now we got somebody who's in stubborn silence. Let me fix that so you can see. He's in stubborn silence. He don't listen. And everybody was trying to get the bag. They was over there suffering. Oh, that's what this is. They was trying to suffer for the rags and the riches for him. And it wasn't getting them what they needed. I just dropped some. It wasn't getting them what they needed, because he would allow you to suffer and then keep you in a suffering state. He's like the donkey of the day. What's this say? Yeah, he's like the donkey of the day. Tell me more, Spirit. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's on Netflix. I don't know what it's called, to be honest with you. I forgot the name. But go look up Puffy or Sean Combs. I don't know what he called it, but look it up. You got to see it. Tell me more, Spirit. What is that? I can't even see what that is. That picture or that little thing you put on there. We got ancestral protection. I feel like those who got away really had this ancestral protection. But it really had to be people who, I don't know, maybe they was prayed up. Maybe they yeah, but the ancestral protection is the only thing that could, not the only thing, but you have spirit guides, we have Orisha, we have all of that. If you know that, right? If that's your lineage, if you know them, you have all that protection. That's the only thing that could defeat a person like this, outside of yourself, right? You gotta pray. You gotta call on that energy to support you, because this right here, and if you sat there and just listened to what he said, you would just be in confusion. You would think this is the right thing to do until you realize how wrong it is. Tell me more, Spirit. Then we got fishy offers. This is what he. Why am I pulling this whole energy on him? But it is what it is. This is what he did. He was very deceptive, misleading, dubious, fraudulent, insincere, and worthless. He made so many promises to people, and they were all full of shit. They said that Andre Harrell used to make contracts. So the only thing you saw was the advance. He streamlined it. That's how they put it. That Puffy streamlined it. Give me more spirit. Influencer. And he was an influencer. I can't make it up. He was an influencer. He was innovative. I can't put. If I wanted to pull out better cards, I couldn't. Anyway, it says innovative, creative, engaging, inspiring, dedicated. You know how many people said that they wanted to be like him? They felt like he was it, and they wanted to be like him. He was a heart collector. Even the jury didn't really want to convict him of anything because they didn't see what the problem is. And also the case put before them didn't make those charges serious enough for him to get convicted. People, they had folks messed up in the head. They were starstruck. And a lot of, listen, regardless of who this man, this particular warlock is, right? There are people in your life that have this influence over people. You know what I mean? They're the kind of people that if they want to kick your back in, they have already a certain charm that people fall for. And they believe the nonsense. Even if they don't want to believe that's you. Something that person says sounds a little true enough, is coming from them, then it's, oh yeah, that's so sad. I can't believe they did that to you. Knowing that they were the culprit the whole time. Tell me more, spirit. Damn it, more. Yep. And so here it says, return back to center until you do right by me. Everything you think about gonna crumble. And that's what's happening right now. He mistreated others and he cursed himself. He's the only way for him to heal is through kindness and respect, which is something I feel like his whole being is lacking. Sometimes people are not meant to get it. They're put here on this earth, right? I feel like we all got free will and choice, but they choose the darker path based on their experience. Their trauma is what guides them. Their trauma is what makes them an easy victim or easy mark, so to speak, right? They say that people who are trauma victims tend to be very easy to utilize for whoever's bidding, right? So I was hearing a guy, I don't know if he was I think he was CIA, on his podcast, and he was just saying how they chose him because of his trauma. Trauma, when you don't heal from your trauma, it makes you easy to be of service to others in a very nefarious way. Like they can get a trauma victim to do unscrupulous things easily because you've already been affected by mind control. So you know when we have them little sleeper cell people, whatever, they come out, they pop out, and people go, I never knew they were like that. I didn't think anything of it. Where did he come from? I never seen him before. He drove across state lines. He did this, he did that. Yes, because they come from a very traumatic background or some sort of trauma was so their mind was supple. You get what I'm saying? A person's mind is supple, so now it's like they got the demon seed in them, so somebody uses that to bring it out. Because their trauma, that traumatic brain, allows them to accept things they shouldn't accept. They had Capricorn on there. I don't know if y'all know Capricorn. Now, Capricorn was an assistant, which I think it sounded like she was an assistant for about 10 years, somewhere around that. And she mentioned her own trauma and said that her trauma with a drug addict mother who as succumbed to her drugs, made her be able to handle his mood swings and his demands. You know, she was able to manage that coming from her trauma. You get what I'm saying? This is how dangerous trauma can be if you do not practice the heal. And again, we are born with free will. Some people choose to heal, they go the empathic way, and others succumb to it because that mind control is no joke. When somebody's constantly playing in your head, playing in your head, playing in your head, making you believe them, they treat you like a zombie. Tell me more, Spirit. He got treated like a zombie. Tell me more. Hold up. Let me see something. Hustler. Ooh, I'm a hustler, baby. Ambitious, scheming, ruthless, cunning, greedy, bold, manipulative, and relentless. This entire reading is him. And stubborn silence. This dude right here is the epitome of a narcissist. And he excuse me, embodies it on multiple levels because he does have power and control in many ways that many didn't. Except Cassie was granted some sort of immunity to step forward, and she had to be granted some sort of protection and immunity to step forward so that he could not clap back at her. He couldn't retaliate. You know, it had to be in a way so that she would be fine with her kids and her spouse and all of that. But this dude here, he was doing the most. Bottom of the deck. And he was a cheater. This is somebody who wants to be known as a spiritual bae. Now, whether this is Puff or another person in your life, but let me tell you, this warlock is real. He is shiesty. He is the type of person that, with that charm and that charisma, this person is able to charm a lot of people. And he probably has insatiable habits and impulse control, right? He lacks impulse control because he feel like he deserve it. He gotta have it. He also has a habit of lying. This person has a habit of lying. They're constantly trying to show a certain strength and masculinity, but it feels as though it's all about control. They're always trying to commandeer, dominate people, all of that. But it's all about control. This person is a heart collector. This dude had multiple women at multiple times and promised them all love. All fake, but all love, right? So they would put up with it because of the breadcrumbs, because of the power, because of the influence, because of the status. But then it would hurt them. That's why it says I might be sad today, but I'm going to get the bag tomorrow. Because this person, the persons that they were dealing with, felt like at some point in time they were going to give them what he promised, when he was never going to give them what he promised. Like never. And that is why fishy offers here. This man always lied. He lied to men, he lied to women. He just kept lying. I don't know if he lied to corporations and such, because when the feds raided him, right, and I'm going to go in and out of this reading between Puff and your regular schmegler narc. His books were clean, right? There was no tax evasion that they could see. There was no disparities in his finances, so they couldn't go after him for that. So they had to choose something that they felt they could take to trial. And he is, I feel like, the epitome of the downfall of the narcissistic person. And I feel like many of us lay people know somebody having a major destruction and a major fall, right? Everybody's not going to be okay at the end of the day. Like, as we roll into the new year, this is not going to feel like previous years. Where everything was, whoop-de-woo, hunky-dory, everything is status quo, and the person didn't have to change anything. They don't have to grow. They're not experiencing. Spirit said, return back to sender until you do right by me. And it says what? Mistreating others curses oneself. Heal through kindness and respect. So to challenge in a lesson is for somebody to act in kindness and respect. And Spirit said they are not. This person is still a hustler, meaning they still are a liar. And they're stubborn silence, meaning they don't feel like they got to change a fucking thing. They could care less how you feel. They could care less what anybody thinks. They're not taking no accountability whatsoever. It's everybody else's fault. Everybody else's problem and everybody else's thing to fix. They don't need no fixing. This dude's arrogance, and I feel like, and I do believe he did use actual magic, meaning he may have had called on other warlocks and other priestesses to come out and do rituals for him to keep him at the level that he was or in higher, right? But he himself lacked a certain level of knowledge. I think the knowledge that he had was very low vibrational. I think he ran the script, found the script, and kept running the same play over and over again. And it kept him at the level he wanted to be on. It did help him grow, but it abruptly stopped when his head and ego got above everything. Like, he already sacrificed. We know that. But he thought it would never catch up to him. Those are the lies he told himself. It never, me? Oh no. I can't be touched. Not me. I got away with this. I got away with that. And then he also knew how to tie up loose ends. For example, not Puff, Lord. Tupac and Biggie. Biggie was a loose end. He had to tie that up. He had to tie that up before they linked back him to Pac. And it kept coming out, honestly, long before Cassie. It kept coming out. Everybody kept saying he has something to do with it. He got something to do with it. But nobody could link it to him. Now it's coming. It's becoming clearer and clearer. This warlock is hard-headed and stubborn. And he think he's smarter than everybody and that he's just going to get over. And Spirit was like, yeah, no, we're done with that. And that's why the ancestral protection stepped in. It's standing in for a lot of people. So he pissed a lot of spirit guys, a lot of people's spirit guys off. I don't understand how the narcissistic brain is in such denial that they feel as though they can't be touched. But the only answer I got to that is that they've been doing it for so long, they thought it would never end. Spirit said, yeah, there's still an ending coming for this person. So, let me pull a tea leaf. Any more, Spirit? Some more. Good news. This is what he wanted. He thought if he apologized, if he just said sorry, he would get good news. That people would tell him what he wanted to hear. If you saw the documentary with this particular warlock, you will see he is orchestrating things in a way to show that he's the only victim here. And that everybody needs to fix it. So he was sitting in wait for good news. And the attorney is steady trying to assure him that there will be good news, but he can't make those promises. Yeah, he thought he would have great and good fortune mistreating others. What he did was take their great and good fortune. Like, people, the dude that worked for him never got paid. Had he got paid, the one that was doing the album with him last, he might not have said anything. He might not have. But he also was abused and humiliated. But all he asked for was his payment. And he denied him that. Tell me more, Spirit. Because again, I'm sorry I dropped cars. He feel like he's above the law. He's above reproach. That no one can challenge him. And y'all know people like this. They don't want to face their demons. They don't want to face the consequences. But this person is going to face it. Tell me more. Tell me about heart collector and influencer spirit. And if they cheated once, they always going to cheat. So pay attention to your health. Cain, yeah. If you're dealing with anybody that's like this, get your health checked out. Okay? Get your, especially your sacral organs. Get them checked out. Get a full panel on your body. Because if you're dealing with a cheater, and let's just say y'all got kids, so y'all don't use protection, they may not be using protection with somebody else either. So if you can uncover what this is and who they are, make sure you get a full panel workup so that you can protect yourself. Tell me more, Spirit. Two-faced friend. Ooh, yep. He was a liar. He was constantly being two-faced to all the people that he was connected to. Everybody. I don't think there was anybody he wasn't two-faced to. Hell, he could have triangulated his children for all we know. They would know. And a person like this definitely would. Look. An arrogant, boastful person you should not cross. This is who he was. This is who he is. Narcissistic, calling the victims who were subpoenaed, calling on people 50 times, trying to intimidate and harass witnesses to get them to not talk about him. Yep, but wow, bottom of the deck. Someone is behaving stupidly. Let me tell y'all something. If you got somebody in your life that will not take accountability for their actions, will not stand up for you, will hinder you from anything, you know deep in your heart, your soul, they're not your person, then you have to then stand up for yourself. You have to then take control of your life and your situation. And it all depends on your level of safety with this person, but it might require you to pick up and go, leave with protection, meaning get some things in order. Out here we had an organization called Women's Space. I don't even know. I do know, but I don't know the name. They've since changed the name. But Women's Space was a shelter type of situation for women and children. What it did was help protect them from domestic violence. Now, I don't know of any kind of supports for a man, but for women, it takes them, what they say, 6 to 11 times on average. So that means it could be a lot more or sometimes less for a person to pull away from the manipulation of a domestic violence relationship, which means you could observe somebody try to leave 6 to 7 times or maybe 10, 12 times, whatever. And the person that they're trying to leave gets a hold of them, pulls them back in. The person is drawn in. They're trauma bonded, right? And a lot of times that trauma bond is the person feels like the person that perpetrated the issue with them is also the only one that can fix it and make everything better. not psychologically understanding that that's not going to happen. You know, when they're in the trauma bond, this person will constantly snap back like a rubber band to that person and allow them to mistreat them again until they want to break free, like they need that release, right? It will have to take the village, some sort of support, and starting with some mental support for this person to gain strength in order to leave that narcissistic person, in order to come out of that grip of control that this cheating type arrogant asshole would put them in. Or, you know, sometimes people feel like, well, they're trying to be with me no matter what, so that must be love. No, it's control. You know, this person hunts me down, they must really love me. Nope, that's control. This person hits me, but they're the same person that patches me up. That's control. A lot of times people are convinced that they love hard, or that they have a soul tie, or they're a twin flame, or whatever, with a person who's only abusing them. Even if it's not physical, it could just be mental, like playing mental games. You know what I'm saying? Constantly hustling and playing mental games with somebody. That's all a form of control. If that person makes you feel unsafe because they are willing to humiliate you, or blackmail you, or disrespect you, or harm you in any way, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially, you know, spiritually, this person is willing in any way to harm you, and you feel unsafe, that's a huge red flag. Please take it as such. And if you have any sense that the veil is thin, and you're able to start seeing beyond it, this would be your wake up call message, you know, nudging you to change your circumstances. Only you have the power to do that. It doesn't matter who is the one manipulating you or casting those spells on you or whatever. It doesn't matter. You got to seek refuge. You got to seek the village. Meaning you need to seek support. I know that that particular organization I mentioned, not only do I have mental health, food, housing, for stability and growth, um, they have mental health counselors. You know, they have steps to stabilize a person so that a person can release that attachment by isolating, getting away. Restraining orders aren't enough. People can violate that anytime. You can violate a restraining order by accepting contact or making contact with that person. Right? They don't do anything but on paper. They are enforceable, but they're not a clear cut way. And narcissists don't care about that. If you got a restraining order against a narcissist, they do not care about that little court order. They're going to come do what they want, how they want to do it. And you need to be aware of that. And not all of them are harmless just because they haven't touched you. Because when you try to go pull away and leave that person behind, that can activate something else within them that they didn't even know that they were capable of, or even willing to do. It could enact some rage that's deep within them because they can no longer have control over you. It's a very sick and unhealthy position to be in. However, the more diligent you are about separating yourself and getting the help that you need, and not letting on to where you are, or whatever you need to do to protect yourself, the harder it is for them to penetrate your boundary. But there's a step you must take. Several steps for some of y'all. There's steps you need to take to separate, create distance from the problem. This man here had his foot on everybody's neck he could. On everybody's neck he could. He had his foot on their neck. He, you know, when you listen to it, you think, nah, that couldn't happen. But they are he got into it with this particular narc got into it with what's his name, Eric Sermon, because his ex was in a car with him talking. He and that became that same ex was Puffy's new girlfriend at the time, and he was beating on the window, and then I guess they put her aside and was going to go around the corner or something to fight it out, and instead he flipped it to listen to my music, listen to my homeboy Ron. You talking about a mind f? So you got anybody in your life that, like I said, makes you feel unsafe? There's a link in my bio for mental health, and you can find it on the about. I think it's about this channel. I don't know what they call it nowadays because they keep changing stuff. But about this channel, when you click on that and you look at, there's a link there for that says LinkedIn bio. When you open that link up, there's a link for mental health. If you are going through any of these, there are options, people you could talk to, you know, get your network together, get your village together so that you can heal. A lot of people say, I don't want to go through this no more. But if they don't actually take the steps to get help, they're going to go through that again. And then again, and then again, and then again. It doesn't stop until you stop it. Or until life changes so dramatically that ain't nothing you can do, and neither can they, if you get what I'm saying. So if you are in this position in any way, in any type of relationship, it don't matter. Because again, the parent-child relationship is the initial trauma that makes you susceptible to additional trauma from others, right? So no matter what type of relationship you're in, if you are done, if you can't take it no more, if you really want to be, you got to set yourself up. This person here, this warlock here was somebody who, that power and influence was great. And I know for some people, like I said, they didn't say anything until it happened to them. But I also feel like the intimidation of him having police and things like that on his payroll really also struck fear in a lot. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Because they didn't have the money to fight up against the system that he was operating from. And they do protect theirs. Again, with humiliation rituals, they can have a bankroll of people under them. But I want to say kudos to those who break the system, who break the cycles, who are brave and not allowing anybody to continue to manipulate them, crush their feelings, hurt and harm them in any way. Big up to you, because that it takes a lot in order to be able to stand up to an arrogant and boastful person that you feel like you can't cross. Somebody who's stubborn, silent, not going to listen to your plight, not going to understand, not going to care. Somebody who's out there collecting hearts, cheating, but pretending to be spiritual. Out there behaving, see the turkey? Someone is behaving stupidly. Somebody who takes your great fortune for granted and might even harm you with it. Let me pull out the crow deck because I feel like we need some blackbirds on this. Some Iami energy. Tell me more, Spirit. Tell me more about this energy here. Be careful of somebody who did you dirty, made you feel unsafe, but to the ones that come with flowers and offering an apology. That's an empty apology. Tell me more, Spirit. That they haven't changed anything about themselves. They just want to say sorry to get back in your life. So we got the Knight of Pentacles, excuse me. This person is not determined to grow, not determined to be better. Actually, they're quite corrupt. Tell me more, Spirit. The moon. And you getting clarity and understanding when it comes to your emotions. Like that's that fog, the illusion and delusion that the moon energy gives you in reverse is clearing that up. You starting to understand what the fishy offer. You smell it, you see it, you know it. You're not fooled by it anymore. This person having strength, no, you're the one with the strength now. You're the one with the understanding, the determination to build your life. Come on, Holy Spirit. Yeah. This person, you know, they might be causing you to have to balance out your life, prioritize your peace, weigh things in a way that makes sense, I guess. Like, you know, when you protect your peace, sometimes you realize you can't argue with people with that have the intention to misunderstanding you. That type of energy is futile. You know what I'm saying? Sending along paragraphs, challenging everything they say or do. It's sometimes there's no energy for that, no need, none. Come on. Oops. Yeah, and some decisions, whether you like it or not, you're not gonna be able to stay on the fence for. You're not gonna hang out and allow life to just happen. I mean, you could do it, you could try, but when life happens that way and you have not made a decision, because the indecision is still a decision. Like, you don't want to decide, it's fine. It can be decided for you. And with this being in a challenging lesson, Spirit is like basically saying that what's decided for you, you're not going to like because you didn't make the right decision. You chose to be indifferent. You chose to not even wave the white flag. You decided to sit in it. If you decide that, okay, now this person could decide that too. Because remember, I said there's two paths a person can go when they've been in trauma. That's either they can choose the path of empathy and understanding and compassion and love, or they can choose the darker side of things where there's disrespect, there's lies and manipulation. The hardest thing for some people is the choice. Some people, the choice is not hard at all. This is given that the choice is hard. Tell me more, Spirit. Because again, if this is the person making a decision, then they have to decide that they got to take accountability for their action. Life is not going to work the way they want to in the way it's going now. And then we got holding back. This is the energy of nope, they're not it. I can't give to you no more. I'm holding back 4 coins. I'm keeping what I got to myself. So if that's you, you holding back. If that's them, it's them being selfish. Take out resonate. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, 3 of Cups. Your person is definitely a cheater. That 3 of Cups in reverse energy. That person keeps a third party. And you know why they keep a third party though? That type of person holds on and collects hearts because just in case it don't work out with you, just in case you figure out who they really are and you pull away, well then they got somebody else to fall back on and they don't have to feel lonely. A lot of times people rebound real quickly or they have somebody waiting in the wings to pick up the slack of what you used to give them because they know you getting ready to shut them down. They are the type of people to observe your energy and how it shifts and changes. And they could tell when you starting to check out on them. So when they start to see that, oh, this person, they checking out on me. They ain't really feeling me like that. Let me hurry up and go get somebody else if they don't already have them. And they become the cheater that they are. But Spirit said this person is behaving stupidly. So they can get somebody else, but that person would be their supply and not necessarily make them happy because they don't have your energy. This person is controlling and they need to control different people for different things, if that makes sense. All right, tell me a little bit more and then we got to go. Tell me more, Spirit. Chat quiet tonight. You ain't got nothing to say, huh? Nope. Empress in reverse. Remember what I said. It starts at home, right? So this is a bad mother. And this is also giving the energy what the man said about abuse. He was abused by his mother. He was overexposed to things by his mother energy. She tried to overcompensate, but she showed him too much. And that trauma of that childhood made him choose the path of lack of empathy. He could only pretend empathy, but he couldn't embody it. Tell me more, Spirit. Yeah, High Priestess. But Spirit says you knew that. You are, and if not, you finding it out. The veil is so thin, you see it now. If you never saw it before, you know now. Without a shadow of a doubt. And this person can't pretend. Spirit said they can't pretend to be different than what they are, because you're the High Priestess. So your energy picks up on subtle nuances, the changes, the frequency, the shifts. You pick up on that. And you probably saw a lot of red flags but tried to ignore it. Spirit said you can't no more. Can't unsee what you see. Tell me more, Spirit. Yeah. Somebody is discontent with life. The Four of Cups in reverse. Very apathetic. Very disappointed in the way things are turning out, which makes sense. Because when you get with a charming individual who has power, control, and influence, you kind of want them to be everything that they promise you they are, right? But if they don't promise you, or I should say, if they don't produce what they said, which is not what this person is doing, they don't produce that, and you feel like you're lacking something. Feel like you missed something. Tell me more. Queen of Pentacles. Spirit say you're stable though, or at least you're on the way to being stable. You have support. You have your own finances in place. You have your pentacles. You're able to take care of people. The challenge is dealing with this person. And sometimes when you are with a person like this, like what we described with this warlock, who uses shame, guilt, and all kinds of rituals to hold on to people and manipulate people, the challenge is being yourself around somebody you don't feel safe with. That's a big challenge. Supporting somebody that you don't feel safe with, that you know is a hustler, that you know is not listening or not respectful, that holds back. It's a challenge. Tell me more, Spirit. Yeah, seven of wands. So this is somebody you have to keep your defenses up, your boundaries up with. This is somebody who will always try to act like your boundaries don't exist. They don't show the proper respect to a person who's trying to protect their peace. That's the likely outcome. So, you're going to have to figure out what your boundaries are. And if you already know, you're going to have to stand 10 toes down with this person. And if this person has chosen to not show up for you, or how can I put it? This person wants control, right? And again, like I was saying earlier about restraining orders, they mean nothing to a person that feels like they own a piece of you. Okay, it means nothing to them. And you gotta know that about a person. A lot of times people we do know, but we don't want to believe it. We don't want to think that this person, I know they crossed my boundaries a couple times, but they harmless. They're not going to do anything. You never know what's going to flip them out, because they have the propensity to do so, given their circumstances and their trauma. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, the star. There's no hope with a person like this. Don't wish upon a star. Don't hope. Don't wonder. Get the hell up out of that situation. Don't linger in it. Disappear if you have to. But don't be involved with somebody who brings you trauma and causes something else. It is what it is. So take it how it resonates. If it don't resonate, y'all don't take it. Just make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. That way you're notified anytime I come on, excuse me. Tomorrow we do live donation readings on Thursdays. Check the pin comment. Thursday nights from 9:30 to until, and then we have the same on Sunday nights. And yeah, all you gotta do is when we get on, follow the pin comments, usually coming from Black Cherry, to tell you what to do, how to donate for that reading, and then we go from there. I sometimes do live subscriber readings, meaning you have to be an active subscriber in the chat. I have seen you before kicking it with us, and you could potentially get a free reading, right? So we do both here. I also do private readings. You can find my information in the description box below. Email me for details, and then we hook up from there, and then I provide you with the reading. But yeah, you can always cash app a donation. That is always grateful and welcome. You can also buy me a coffee. That link is above or somewhere on this channel. You can find it easily. I don't know what they call it. Like I said, I think it says about me or about the channel page, whatever. It's there. But hit that red button below that says subscribe. And go ahead and subscribe. We'd love to have you in the tribe. And we want to thank you for coming today. In the meantime, and in between time, don't fall for the monkey in the tailpipe, right? Somebody hold your boundaries up. Keep them tough. Keep them strong. Don't let this person break you down. Peace.